All right. So thank you so much, first of all, to Learners University for inviting me here today to, to talk to you guys and give you an insight about, what a modern day resume is. So if any of you are not able to hear me at any time, or you're not able to see my screen at any time, please raise your hand. I'm using Dr. Sharon's. I'm actually using Dr. Sharon's ID here. So I'm Fatima Williams, and let me share my name here. Okay, and I am the one who's going to be conducting the workshop. I hope everybody, did a little bit of research about me before you came in for the webinar. I've been in the recruitment and HR industry for over 10 years now, almost a decade, and I have an associate CIPD in HR, and I've screened so many candidates from 2010 until now, and I kind of got an idea about what you know is a resume that sells. So I want to share that with you. I want to share that knowledge with you to help you understand what it is that will help you to get hired, to get prepared, and in fact, how you can tailor your resume for each and every job that you apply to. Okay. So the agenda for today's meeting is basically I'm going to give you a little bit of introduction, background, the resume writing breakdown. If we have time, I will be inviting a guest speaker to come into the session. And finally, we have the Q&A session. So for the Q&A session, I have a Google form, which I will pass out to you guys. So please enter your questions that you have, and I'll try to answer maximum in the last 20 minutes, provided time is available. All right. So are we all ready to get started? If you're ready to get started, type I am ready to get, type I am in the comment box. That's more than enough. Yep. Fantastic. Fantastic. Kadua, Randa, Shahid. Fantastic. Amir, that's the energy I need. Yes. Yes, Mr. Hadadi. That's a nice name. Great. Yes, Rija. So let's go ahead. So to tell you about my 10 years of experience, that's me when I first started in HCL, my career, after I finished my college and everything. Okay. Okay, I'm going to have to make, accept some people in the room. All righty. Manoj, can I just make you the panelist so that you could manage the attendees, if that's okay? How do I do that? 1 second.
Sure.
Are you a panelist? Do you have meeting controls, Manoj?
Not now, Ms. Fatima. You have to give me the.
Okay, Manoj. Manoj. Okay, Manoj, I'm just going to make you the host. Okay. In case if I need to be the host again, then I will let you know. Yeah.
Sure.
Fantastic. So you could just admit everyone in so that I don't break off
yes,
the flow.
please. No problem.
Fantastic.
Thank
you so much. Great. So sorry about that, guys. So yeah, I mean, I just want to give you a little bit of background. You need to know who you're talking to. So I started off my career actually as a teacher. I wanted to be a teacher. I worked for 1 year as a teacher, and then I moved into the corporate world called HCL Technologies. I worked there for almost 5 years before I actually moved to the Middle East. So I started my career as a teacher. I moved on as a customer service advisor and then a trainer. At the age of 23, I was training people bigger than me, huger than me, and they had more experience than me. And the reason why I was able to do that is I always had the rigor to learn. I was a very passionate person. I try to find any time to learn. I'm always listening to people. I'm trying to understand how they achieve success in their career. And those are some of the reasons why I've achieved success in my career as well. But I wasn't truly happy with my career until I became a career coach. Even though I worked as a recruitment manager for 10 years, I wasn't able to truly help people maximum because I always had that, the collar that held me back when I wanted to do more for people and when I wanted to contribute more to job seekers. Because, as much as I give a lot of advice and coaching and, everything, I couldn't make an impact as I wanted to. And that's why now I moved on to be a career coach where I train people, I give them the best advice, everything that I've learned in the last 10 years. And that's what I put together for you in this session. All right. So moving on to the next slide here. So that's me. You can follow me on social media by just searching for Dream Career Coach. And I'm on LinkedIn. I have around 34,000 followers, and whatever resume strategies that I'm giving you today, I would like you to use the same strategies on your LinkedIn profile as well. In fact, if you guys follow me on LinkedIn and connect with me, I will be able to open up my 30,000 for 30,000 connections. So you know how it works with LinkedIn, right? So when you connect with a person on LinkedIn, you get access to their network. So if you're job seekers, you're career professionals, you want to access a larger network, you need to connect to more people. So this is me on LinkedIn. Find me, follow me. So let's see. Systems work and people fail. Have you heard this before? Systems work, people fail. How many of you have heard this dialogue before? If you have, type I in the comment box. No. Okay. So systems work, people fail is a very, very famous quote, actually, and it's been used by very successful entrepreneurs. And the reason, what it actually explains is if you follow the system, if you follow a set of strategies and rules, you will be able to get the result. But you have to put in the hard work for that. You can't expect, to get results without putting in the hard work. Okay. So in order for the system to work, you need to have a strategy. And focus is your most important asset. If you don't have focus, if you lose focus, you will not be able to get to where you want to be. So don't be cheap on your journey to greatness. I know many of you here have fantastic career goals. You want to be hired in the best organizations. And if you take in the strategies that I'm giving in today, you will be able to get hired to the job that you want. Okay. So follow the system and the system will work for you. Now, if you should leave now, if you think, resume is not very important in my career journey, I can get my resume written by somebody else, resume is just a piece of paper. Any of you who don't have a lot of, importance, who don't give importance to resume, should just leave. Because if you think that you can just get a job by sending a resume which has no structure, and it's just a piece of a replica of a job description. So basically what people do is they copy paste the job description on their resume and they expect results. So if you're one of those people, you should definitely leave. Okay. But I hope not, because everyone came in here for this session specifically to learn how the resume is done. Okay. So one thing I need you to remember is your experience level at this point doesn't matter, because I know a lot of you people here are studying, you're trying to get upgraded in your skills, which is fantastic. I absolutely salute you for that. And experience doesn't matter. It does matter to a certain extent, but it's not the main defining criteria. Okay. What matters is how you actually go ahead and put yourself forward, to the hiring manager, to the recruiter. So even if you have some less experience or if you have some gaps, it's how you put yourself forward, how you sell yourself. Each of us need to sell ourselves to the other person. I mean, we sell ourselves every day. If you're a mother, you sell yourself to your children because you try to teach them. If they don't listen to you, you're not selling yourself. You're not selling your values. You're not selling your lessons to them. Am I right? Do you agree? Right? And if your mother and father were not good salespeople, they would have not raised you with all of the values and all of the skills that they wanted you to gain. So each of us are actually salespeople in a way, and since we are by default selling so many things to our family members, we sell our values to them, we sell our career goals to them, we should be able to sell ourselves. Do you agree with me? Right? Fantastic. So there isn't okay, so I just saw a comment here, and he said plagiarism is not allowed on resumes. Okay, now first of all, you cannot plagiarize a resume. The reason being, each resume is going to be unique to your own skills. Now, we can say, okay, I have followed up with customers and managed a team. Yes, that can be common for my job, and that can be common for your job as well. But when I followed up with a customer, what did I do? What results did I achieve? That is different between me and it's different between you, right? So those are not the same results. So there is no way a resume can be a duplicate of another person. And if it is, if you're someone who thinks that I can just copy another resume, then you will not get the results that you're looking for. And that is not what this session is all about. Okay. So, so what are you going to learn here is you're going to learn the key sections of a resume, how to write a powerful talent brand summary, how to set yourself from the competition. So the same strategies that I give you for the resume, I'd like you to adapt it for LinkedIn, because to do LinkedIn, it's in a whole new session. So probably if Dr. Sharon has time, she can invite me back for a LinkedIn session, and I'll be more than happy to do it. Now, avoid the classic mistakes that sabotage your job search and make the most of your work experience. So these are things. So, my agenda for this is to make sure that you get hired, learn new skills, and make more money. So in my community of people that I train, I follow a code of honor. And each of us have to have a code of honor that we follow in our life, because without codes of honors, we are all lost sheep without shepherd. We have to have something to, direct us in the right path. And these are some of the code of honors of people in my community. Those I coach and train. So I just wanted to share with you. You have the freedom to dream. You have the growth mindset. You get the clarity that you need. You have to have efficiency and execution, because if you learn something and don't implement it, then it's of no use, right? And of course, trust. You need to trust the process, trust yourself, trust the person who's teaching you, and contribute. You have to give back to the society. If you learn something fantastic today, go on LinkedIn and type it out. Go on your social media and type it out. Go and tell your friends about it. Tell them, you know what, I heard this superb tip. Why don't you adapt it on your resume? Maybe you will get the job you want. All right. So, okay. So these are the reasons why, again, we are rewriting your resume from the scratch. Okay, so these are some of the challenges that job seekers, career professionals tell me when they find that their resume does not get, they're like, you know what, I've applied to so many jobs, but I've not got any response. So these are some of the common challenges. If you guys have anything which is not here in this section, please go ahead and type in the comment box, and I will try to address it at the end of the session. All right? Fantastic. So I would like everyone to focus on the session rather than commenting, so that, that in that way it'll be easier for both of us to get more from this session. All right? Okay. So those of you who've applied for jobs in the past, did you also feel the same way? If any of you working professionals here coming back to reskill yourself, coming back to learn, did you ever feel that you sent your CV into a ghost town and nobody ever replied back to you ever again? If you did, please type I in the comment box. Just type I in the comment box. You did? So none of you, okay, Ashner, you're there. Okay, nobody else sent your CV and never got a response. Come on. Okay, Mr. Haradi. Yes, Mr. Kabula. I am one of those people as well. Don't you think I've applied for jobs in the last 10 years? In fact, I remember I applied to Microsoft about 4 years ago, and I got a rejection email like last year. You would not believe it. In fact, I wanted to send a screenshot screenshot of that to the hiring manager, but I just said never mind, it doesn't matter because I wasn't applying to jobs anymore. Yes, Mr. Malik. All of us feel that way. We feel when we send our CV, we send it into the ghost town. Now, one thing I want each one of you here to remember is you have a unique value, and it's all about how you sell it, how you put yourself across to the hiring manager. And why you need to rewrite the resume is because you know yourself better than anybody else. So for all those people who think I'll just send my CV to a resume writer and she will write it without even any interactions from you, you're completely mistaken, because those kind of CVs are the plagiarism CVs, which one of our friends in the session was telling us about. So you don't want your CV to look like every other CV in the market. You don't want your CV to look like the 95% of the other candidates out there, right? You want your CV to be the best and it should stand out in the top 5%. So what makes you different? That is what the resume has to say. Okay, so the purpose of the profile should be to tell them who you are, what kind of professional, what values you have, what kind of experience, skills
ये
you have.
views
All
को
right.
कैसे डालने का वो बता समझी
Here, Manoj, can you just mute everyone? Thank you. So now, does anyone here in this group feel that the reason why I can't land a job is because of my interview skills? Now, those of you who've gone for interviews and have not been selected, did you ever feel that the reason why I couldn't get a job is because of my interviewing skills? Now, if you did, please type I in the comment box again. Or me, type me in the comment box. Type me, M-E. Did you ever feel that, the reason why you couldn't land a job, it was not because of my resume, it's because of my interview skills? Okay. Yes. Yes, Chaimi. Yes, Jadir. I completely, understand how you feel. But let me tell you something. If you've got that interview call, that means you're amazing, first of all. If you've attended that interview, that means you have the capacity to be hired for that job. Now, most of the time, the reason why sometimes you don't get hired even after you go for an interview, it's not only because of your interviewing skills. Yes, you have to improve your interviewing skills. But once you leave the interview, you do not follow up or you don't keep in touch. You don't build your connection with the hiring manager. And most importantly, your CV is with the hiring manager after they leave. So even if they make notes, I don't know how many hiring managers make notes rigorously while interviewing you, but until they don't make enough notes, and if they just have your CV again, they're going to go back and look at your CV to try and think, what was the conversation with this person. So that's the reason why your resume should have everything in it. In fact, your resume should be a piece of document that explains everything about your experience. And the only reason that they call you for an interview should be to check if you're good, if you have good attitude, if you have good people skills, if your communication is good, if your presentation is good. These are the only reasons why you should be, these are the reasons why they should actually take into factor. All right. So let's move ahead here. The first impression that a recruiter or a hiring manager gets of you is your resume, and the second is your LinkedIn profile. Nowadays, as soon as anybody gets a CV, the first thing they do is go and look at the LinkedIn profile. So if the information on your CV and your LinkedIn profile are not matching, then you're in for some trouble when you go on for the interview. They'll be like, hey, you didn't explain this. I don't see this in your CV, right? Perfect. So I'll tell you what writing a good resume is. Okay, I will come back to you on this, Mr. Rija Rashid. Age criteria, that's just a myth. I would like to share a story. I have story time in between, so I just want to not lose track of time. I will explain to you about this age story that I have. All right. So just listen carefully. Shahir, just follow what I'm saying. Just listen to the session. Try to make notes. Don't get distracted. All right. So I'll tell you what writing a good resume is. Okay, forgive the typo. It's writing. Writing a good resume is not using the same template you learned in high school. In fact, wait, let me just correct that right away. because that is troubling me. Writing. All right. Perfect. Okay, so writing a good resume is not using the same template you learned in your high school or your university. It's not copy pasting a job description for word to word, and it's not a brain dump of a random task. Like for example, if you see Mr. Shahir has typed some skills over here, it's not just copy pasting these skills onto your CV. I'll tell you what it is. All right. Okay. So writing a good resume is knowing how to sell yourself on paper, your brand. It's your personal brand on paper. It's like your visiting card, basically. Understanding your values, abilities, and your unique work and getting into the hiring manager's head. Telling them compelling stories that makes them want you. They should be, you know what? I want to hire Fatima. I don't want to hire anybody else. She was the best. Everything is on her CV. I just need to meet her. And if she's having a good cultural fit in the team, I will hire her. So from hiring and interviewing thousands of candidates. Now, on an average, I would, as a recruiter and a hiring manager, on an average, I used to speak to, let's say, about 30, 40 candidates. If there were walk-ins, again, there'll be too many walk-ins. And the only way we decide on a walk-in is the CV. Look at the CV, 6-second glance. Yes, no, yes, no. Two piles. The yes will come in for a face-to-face interview. The no, we will say thank you very much. We wish you all the best and come back. Now, I don't want you to be in the no section. I want you to be in the yes section. So please pay attention. So, so let's look at how we can get into the hiring manager's head. Now, before that, I have a question for you. Before you can, start your resume, what do you think you need to have to look at first? What you need to refer to? Now, I'm telling each one of you have to write your own resume from the scratch. Now, it's really intense, right? So, what do you need to write your resume? Can you type on the comment box? What do you think do we need to write a resume? What does one need apart from your name, your educational qualifications, where you worked? Yes. Fantastic, Mr. Zahid. Absolutely. The job description. Yes, Ashner, projects as well. But most importantly, when you are applying to a job, okay, a job, not many jobs. I hope we have a lot of people here who will learn that sending out blanket applications will not give you results. You have to tailor your job search strategy. You have to choose the company you want to work with. And when you choose the company you want to work with, you pick the jobs that they are hiring and you tailor your job description. You tailor your resume to match the job description. All right. So that is the first thing you need to look at. Okay. So before you start your resume, you need to look at the job description. Now I'm going to give you a little bit background on the job market before we move into the CV. All right. And I'm also going to just set an alarm here so that I know the timings. 1 second. We can have time for Q&A. Perfect. So the job market is actually strong. How many of you agree with me here? Type me in the comment box. Do you agree with me that the job market is strong? Or do you think I'm lying? How many of you think I'm lying? Okay, let me tell you why. Okay, I'll tell you why the job market is strong. Now, LinkedIn's latest data shows that hiring across all industries is 10% above pre-pandemic levels, and actually national hiring has increased. In fact, even UAE's unemployment rates have reduced compared to what it was before. And the reason for all of this is because of the great resignation. Have you heard of the term great resignation? Tell me if you've heard of the word great resignation. Type yes in the comment box. Have you heard of this word, the great resignation? Yes, come on. I want everybody to interact. We have 50 people here. So have you heard of the word, the great resignation? You have, Ashnir. Okay. What about the great reshuffle? Okay. Now it's mostly prevalent in the US and EU, yes, but most of you know that majority of the jobs, we have a lot of jobs from the US and EU that are coming into the UAE. We have a lot of companies that outsource their work to India, UAE, other Gulf countries as well. So the reason why I'm talking to you about the Great Resignation, even countries like UAE, if you go in and read in some surveys from Robert and Half website. Robert and Half is one of the leading recruitment firms in the world, and they tell us that when they did a survey of people in the UAE, many people said that they are planning to resign their job. In fact, many of them have resigned their job and they've started looking for better opportunities. Because the one thing the pandemic taught us is we need to work in a job we love. We need to work in a place where we are valued, and we need to feel fulfilled. I have lost family members during the pandemic, and in fact it was in 2020 that I resigned my job as a full-time recruitment operations manager for a large executive firm. We were billing almost 500,000 dirhams, almost every single time whenever we made a project. We were outsourcing candidates to the Middle East, to taking people from India, Pakistan, everywhere. And I just resigned my job because during the pandemic I came to understand the significance of what I did, and I wanted to help more people. And also, I wanted to change my line of work. I wanted to find my passion. And my passion was to help people find jobs that they love, get hired to jobs that they love. Because I always settled, whenever it came to finding a job, because that's how we've been trained. When we pass out of college, the first thing is just get any job. That's the focus everybody has. But this market that you have, the job market, I would call it as the golden age, because it's a candidate driven market. The candidate makes the decision, but the candidate needs to be skilled. The candidate needs to know how to sell himself, and the candidate needs to be skilled. So you need to check all the boxes to be that candidate that can take advantage of this market. All right. So these are some of the fastest growing jobs actually in the industry as per LinkedIn data. Now I'm going to tell you a top secret. Okay, the top secret is, in fact, I already told you that even if you don't have experience, you can get hired, right? But the most important thing you need to understand is upskilling yourself. Okay, staying relevant to the market, making sure that you know what are the skills that you need at any point of time is what is going to get you the job. All right. So skills are changing continuously. So make sure you use the right skills. 40% of people on LinkedIn are using skills to actually fill up positions. So if you don't know what are the top skills that you need to write on your CV, then it's going to be, you're not going to get the right job opportunities. You're not going to get the right results that you want. Okay. So LinkedIn helped 400,000 companies make skill-based hire. So what does that mean? They didn't give importance to MBAs or higher end qualifications, but what they gave importance for was how that person was using the skills that they learned from that MBA in their job. How did they use those skills? Okay, so you need to understand how to use and how to display and how to sell your skills. All right. So there is a survey on the LinkedIn Economic Forum. So for those of you who want that, let me try to share the link for you. Okay, I don't have the link here, but I'll drop it. I'll drop it at the end for you. So the LinkedIn Economic Survey says that identifying similar skills can actually help a lot of people transition from one job to another at ease. All right. So, for example, let's look at this job. Now, a cashier can move into a customer service role if he can identify what are the common skills that he has. So, at any point of time, you need to understand what are my transferable skills. You need to have that handy, and you have to pick and choose when you apply to jobs. Don't randomly apply to jobs. All right. So, rejection is not a sign of your worth or talent. In fact, let me just, I want to share this link with you guys. 1 second. copy link and paste. Okay, I'm going to paste this link in the comment box for you guys to read it later on. All right. I will send this to Manoj. Okay, perfect. So the future of skills is a LinkedIn data that tells us how jobs are changing. I will share this, Mr. Manoj. Manoj will share it with everybody. Now, what are the skills that workers need to stay to be competitive in this new world? Okay. So, for example, let's take a supply chain analyst position in 2015. Okay, data analysis was one of the top skills. But today, if you see, Microsoft Power BI is one of the top skills for that same position. So if it's supply chain management, then you have supply chain operations. If it's SAP, you have SAP ERP. So you need to understand what are the top skills that are trending right now in your position. And you need to implement them on your CV. It has to be there on your resume. All right. And that is the reason why I'm telling you all these things. Okay. So rejection, when you get actually rejection is good. When you get rejections from interviews, you actually know that you're doing something but something is wrong there, so you can try to correct yourself and you can try to understand where the mistakes are, where you're going wrong, and you have to understand the company's needs, their prepare and plan your approach and solutions. Okay, so now many of you know that some of the challenges as a recruiter that I face is resumes are very vague. It's like, just a copy paste of job description, or sometimes I find that CVs are just duplicates of each other. So we have a big headache of making decisions in a short span of time. So it's your job to make the hiring manager's life easier. Honestly speaking, you need to make a decision in 6 seconds if they want to continue with your CV or not. And the first top part of your CV is where they actually make the decision whether they want to go down to the rest of the CV or not. All right. Now, Lauren Gardner, the head of global talent acquisition at Microsoft, he says, I wouldn't recommend sending out one or two applications. But when you start to send out your applications, if you see some people, I've asked them once, how many jobs have you applied today? Oh, I've applied to around 50 to 60 jobs. How do you apply to 50 to 60 jobs? You need to tailor your job search. You need to apply to the companies where you can get hired too. So if you send out blanket applications, you will feel like you sent your CV into the ghost town. All right. So you need to tailor your search and you need to go according to it. So the ability to describe yourself in a way that is exciting and compelling is a fundamental job search skill. And the key to winning at interviews is to approach the conversation as a problem solver, as a solution provider, not as a job seeker. From today onwards, I don't want you to think of yourself as a job seeker. Think of yourself as a solution provider and as a, um, you know, what else? Think of yourself as someone who provides value. You have to remember it's all about the problem. Okay. Now, an open position means there is a problem in the company. Not a problem, there is a requirement in the company. So, what requirement does that hiring manager have? What problem does he want me to solve? How can I solve this problem? Okay. So, take the pressure off you and focus the pressure on the problem. And what is the problem? The job description, the key skills that they want you to perform during the job. That is the problem. So if you can answer with solutions to the problem on your CV, then you have a fantastic CV. If you feel this is like an amazing piece of information, please type wow in the comment box. Do you feel, how do you feel when I said that? Do you feel confident about your approach when you write your CV? You do? If you do, please type yes in the comment box. I feel confident about my approach. All right. Okay, so now this is not a theory, it actually works. Okay, this particular strategy has helped hundreds of people get invited, get jobs, land their dream jobs. I tell you what it is. Okay, so creating the ultimate resume is very, very important because recruiters and hiring managers, they just scan the CVs. And in fact, some people say 10 seconds, but I'm saying it's 6 seconds. And it depends, it depends on every hiring manager. So your resume and your cover letter should answer 5 questions. What is the role? Okay. So who are you? I'm Fatima, and I am a career coach and a recruitment operations manager and a career strategist. So that is who am I. Who are you? Okay. Who do you help? Company, department, person. So I help career professionals. I help organizations. I help universities and colleges. Who do you help? Who are your customers, or what is the demographic that you help? Okay. What would be the responsibilities you have? What problems can you solve for this company? So I can help people get hired with great interview skills. I can help them get their resume written. I can teach them, how to rebrand their resume, rebrand their LinkedIn profile, interview techniques, so many things. So you need to know what are the problems you can solve. In fact, I can even help rewire somebody's mindset, because I've learned psychology. I have a diploma on psychology. I'm a teacher. I learned how to understand the mind of my students. So I know what I am good at. Do you know what you're good at? Have you listed down the top 5 skills that you have? What are the problems you can solve? So if you say I am a data analyst, what data do you analyze? Who do you analyze the data for? What is the industry that you are in? The industry, what is the function? If you say I'm in hospitality, under hospitality, is it F&B, or is it engineering, or is it, which department? You have to break it down. And also, what is unique about you? What is unique about me is, I have an associate CIPD in HR, and I am absolutely purpose driven. That is something that's unique about me. And I can leave the room making the person remember me. Can you do that? How can you do that? You need to create, and you need to practice. You need to build that confidence. When you walk into a room, the next thing when you leave the room, they should be thinking that, wow, that was a fantastic interview. So what results can you bring? And the next question is, how have you created similar results in the past? So when you are writing a CV, if they say need to manage outlets, F&B outlets in the MENA region. Now, MENA region is, the Middle East. So if that is one of the job description, you should say, how have you done that in the past? So have you managed restaurants in the past? So your CV should actually say, if I was an F&B manager and I'm applying for a role, I would say I have managed 15 F&B outlets in 5 geographical areas: Oman, Saudi, UAE, with a growth, with a revenue generation of about 15% per quarter. So you understand what I'm saying? You need to be able to give them examples of your past success stories on your resume. All right. So these are some general rules about your resume. You need to put your latest position on the top, list the dates, the months, everything. I will share the template with you in a minute. Now, according to a study on LinkedIn, the resumes that were completely, having the good resumes, the resumes that had accomplishments, that were result driven, those resumes are the ones that, have more comprehensive LinkedIn profiles as well. Because when somebody gives so much of importance to their CV, they will also give importance to their LinkedIn profile. And if you see, the hiring is more in each of these areas where people who had a comprehensive LinkedIn profile. So I will share this checklist with you, no spelling mistakes and all of that stuff. So this is the journey of a resume. Okay. So we start off at the sourcing section, this part. So this part here, if you can't get past these 2 parts, okay, and get to the screening, then you're losing out on this part, the offer. So this is the journey of a resume. It starts at the sourcing section, where a hiring manager or recruiter starts searching for you. So when they search for you, you need to be found. If you're not found, then you will not get the opportunities that you want. And in the review section, if you do not highlight the skills, you're not going to get the interview call. Okay. So these are some of the key sections in a CV. Let me So what is your goal? Your goal is to basically beat the ATS. How many of you have heard the word ATS? ATS, please type me in the comment box. Have you heard the word ATS? What is ATS? Can somebody tell me what is an ATS, please? Yes, I am waiting. Arjun, Mahesh, Mr. Haddadi. How many of you have know what an ATS is? The ATS is the application tracking system. Maha. Maha, the ATS is the application tracking system. So the application tracking system is where all of your CVs go in when you apply on the career portal on a website. So when you go into a company's website, there is a career section, right? So when you click on apply, those jobs go into a system called the application tracking system. So the reason, that's right, Jay, it is an application tracking system. So the reason for you to rewrite your CV is to beat the ATS and also to capture the hiring manager's attention. So it should, this is like your checklist. Easy to review in 30 seconds. The intersection is about what you want, like what job you want to be hired for. Your certification should stand out. Your qualification should be clear. Your keywords should match and it should convert in text. And please do not use designer resumes. Do not use boxes inside your CV. Some people use boxes and they use like, all sorts of artistic things. All that, is not picked up by the ATS. In fact, it loses out on the information. It kind of, when it's extracting the information, it loses out some information. Yeah. So the structure of a resume has to remember the format, has to have a purpose, the header, it has to have a form, and the resume sections should give you results. Okay. So this is what I would say the top section of a resume should be. Okay. In fact, I call this part as your talent brand summary. So for those of you who struggle to write your resume, I want you to remember this formula. Okay. The formula is right here. Job description with over dash years of dash experience seeking to be a part of an organization driven by dash 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 to enhance problems dash dash and dash. So this is like a template that I'm giving you actually to write your resume. So I'm giving you an example right below. The same structure here. I am a cloud support engineer and an IT security specialist with MS Dynamics Azure CSM certification. So you're mentioning what are the certifications that you have. Okay. So this will help you break down your skills and give the hiring manager an idea. Let me show you an example. Now, when you're writing your CV, always use a Word document and list out all the job titles in a crisp manner like this. Now, if you look at this here, it's written desktop engineer, Microsoft Dynamics and service specialist. That is the expertise, the skill set that the person has, and exchange administrator. These are the job designations that this person has held in that company. Okay. And the dates always include month and year. If you don't include the month, as a hiring manager, I think that you're trying to hide something. Maybe you have some skill gap, or maybe you have some experience gap. Okay. So group your accomplishments, group your promotions, group your relocations, group it in one section. Okay. And if you have gaps, please make sure you mention it in your resume. You enter the dates where you had your gaps and you write the statement for what, for example, if you went to study or you went to help a family member or you were supposed to take care of a family member, whatever it is, mention it. Because when you don't mention gaps on your CV, it gives the hiring manager a room to think about something else. Okay. So make a laundry list. Whenever you start writing your CV, make a laundry list and group the similar items. Okay. So how do I stand out? With so much of competition, how do I stand out? That's a question you ask, right? So these are the questions you have to ask yourself. What can I bring to the company? What contribution can I give to the department? And how can I complement the existing team? Okay. So these are the three key lessons that I want you to understand as well. The difference between a good and bad job description, understanding why the role is open, and how to find the best keywords. So when you start writing a CV, when you start writing your CV for any job. So let's say you've seen a job and you're like, okay, I want to apply to this job and I want to get hired to this job. The first thing you do is you go and you read the job description. Okay, so for that you need to understand what is a job description. A good job description has full sentences, it has summary. Are you guys able to hear me? Because it said the internet is unstable. Can any one of you type yes in the comment box, please? Are you able to hear me? Okay, thank you so much. So, what is a good job description? Full sentences, resume, responsibilities, qualification, and thoroughly explains, it gives you a sense of what the hiring manager wants. That is a good job description. Okay, so now let me give you an example of a bad job description. I talked about a good job description, right? But this is a bad job description. Leading retail group currently in the market to appoint a logistics project manager to support their business expansion. So if you look at this job description, there's no structure to it. There's no beginning, there's no introduction to the company, there's no information about the benefits, there's no information about the education, there's no information about the salary and stuff like that. So when you see a job like this, first of all, you have to think about the company. Is this a great company that I want to work for? They can't even write a proper job description. You need to look at everything because you as a candidate, you have talent, you have skills, you have studied in amazing organizations, you have got the qualifications. So why do you settle for an organization that will not work according to what you want? So you have to pick the organizations that you want to work for, and that's the only way to get hired. Trust me. If you randomly apply to jobs in the market, you will get the same results everyone is getting. So when I look at this job description, the first thing I would do is, if I can find an email address, I will email the hiring manager and ask him to send me a detailed job description if the position interests me. Maybe the hiring manager is a newcomer, maybe the HR is a junior who wrote the job description. We'll never know. So don't assume, reach out to the hiring manager. But this is an example of a bad job description. Okay. So this is an example of a good job description, according to me. It has the position summary. It gives you the duties and responsibilities. It tells you what are the competency requirements and what is the educational skill requirement that you need to have. So this gives you an idea. Okay, so these are the things that I want. These are the things that I want to solve. So what can I do for this company? You go and you read in the competencies. Open to change and the ability to identify where it is needed and how to make it happen. So this point can be something that you can use to write your key accomplishments. I will talk about it now. Okay. So you have to break down the job description and understand each and every part of it. And this is an example of a good job description. So the second thing you need to know is, why are they hiring for the job? You need to read in between the lines. Now, why? Because that will help you to use the right language on your CV, on the resume that you're writing. It will give you the right mindset when you start writing your CV. Okay. So why are they hiring? So let's look at this. Are you guys able to see my screen? Okay, hold on. Let me zoom that in. Okay. So if you look at this job overview, right? So armed with strong project management skills, intellectual curiosity, and a passion for research, the manager of the customer and channel partner insights. Okay, their problem solving and research skills to identify and develop customer and channel partner methodologies and insights to turn key business challenges into researchable solutions. This role leads a team of analysts who specialize in managing research projects to develop customer and channel partner insights and identify key opportunities for growth. So this is why, okay? Why? To turn key business challenges into researchable solutions. Why? To identify key opportunities for growth. Again, if you look at the responsibilities, in a fast and efficient manner, they want you to develop, launch, and execute new research methodologies. So that is another why. So you need to break down and understand what are the, What is the reason that the hiring manager has, this particular requirement? Answer the question why. Okay. So the third thing is you need to find the best keywords. So when you find the keywords on the CV, on the job description, you can take those keywords and use them when you're writing your resume. Okay. So basically, plan in conjunction with the division manager the successful execution of projects in accordance with the corporate policy. Okay, so you can talk about how you have planned a similar project in the past. You can give an example of that. Build and maintain customer and supplier vendor relationships. So how did you build and maintain customer relationships? What did you do? Pick out these key skills. All of these words that I've underlined here in red. Construction, project budget, estimates, negotiations, architects. So these are all keywords that you can use on your CV, which will eventually allow you to get noticed by hiring managers and recruiters, and it will also help you to get past the ATS. Okay. Okay, I will answer that, Zahid. How much important is cover motivation letter and should be provided only on demand? Actually, a cover letter, when you are tailoring your job search as per the job search, if you're planning your job search and you know where you're applying. For example, if you picked, let's say EMAR, and you want to apply to the project management division in EMAR, and you know that there's a project manager position open. So first of all, what you will do is you will tailor your resume with all of your accomplishments, and you will prepare a cover letter. A cover letter is different to a resume. A cover letter tells them, what can you, what is it that's not there on your resume? Because your resume tells about your key accomplishments. In fact, your resume should have 3 success stories on it. Okay. So let me show you the structure of a resume. Okay. Now, are you guys able to see my CV over here, on my screen over here? Okay. So if you look at this particular section here, this is what I was talking about, right? The talent brand summary. This section here is where you will talk about what are your skills, what are you skilled at. Okay. And now this is an example of, for a HR, the talent brand summary. I will share this template with you guys. I will share it with Manoj and he can probably share it with you guys, or I can drop a link in the comment box and you can download it from my website as well. Okay. So this is the talent brand summary. So the talent brand summary is going to be answering these questions. Where are you going? It needs to stand out on its own. It needs to list your certifications, trainings, awards, experiences. It needs to list past accomplishments that demonstrate your characteristics. Okay. So I'll give you a simple example. Okay. This is the example. I am a dash and a dash. I help dash. I solve dash using skills that include dash, dash, and dash. If you can, put this on the top section.
Hello, ma'am. We can see the example. It's stuck in the finding the best keywords.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was sharing the other screen. Thank you. Okay. All righty. Okay. Are you guys able to see this now? Thank you. All right. Perfect. So this is the talent brand summary. Okay. The talent brand summary has to be about where you're going. It needs to stand out on its own without your professional experience. It needs to list your certifications, your training, your experiences, and it needs to list past accomplishments that demonstrate relevant characteristics. So basically, this is a formula. You can actually take a screenshot of this and keep it so that you can write it, or you can always, get this template from me by visiting my website. So after that, you enter your job title 1, 2, and 3. So you write one powerful result-driven sentence about your role in the organization. All right. And your key achievements. The next section has to be about your key achievements. So Your key achievements are your results, your highlighted skills, and your accomplishments. So if you can write 3 to 6 key accomplishments of each and every job that you worked in, or if you're a college student, you can write about your projects, your university, events, what you've been, a part of, the projects you've been a part of. Write down the outcomes and the results. All right. So this part above, this section, this is like the key section of your CV. This is where the first 6 seconds is spent. So after that, you go down and you write your professional experience, where you mention your position title, exactly what job title that you want to apply for. You give them one line summary about the company that you worked for, because they have to understand if you're coming in from the same industry or not. And then you tell them your role. What is your scope of responsibility? What types of problems do you solve? And then you go ahead and give them your key accomplishments for each and every job. So when you break down your CV in that manner, you will be able to help the hiring manager make a better decision. Okay. So where were we? Okay. So that was lesson 3, finding the keywords. And all right. So it all starts with a compelling profile. Your talent brand summary is very important. So have that in the top section. So here's an example. I just want to give you an example of a talent brand summary of somebody's. So this is a cloud security engineer example. So if you look at this, in the first section, he talks about his designation. In the second section, he talks about what he can do for the company. In the third section, he talks about his accomplishments, his key accomplishments. Okay. And in the last section, he talks about what he is going to do for the organization. What is it that he wants to do? So when you tailor your CV in that way, you will be able to. Are you able to see the example, Ashna? I
Yes,
did.
ma'am. We can see the example. Your talent brand and summary.
Okay, yeah, the talent brand summary is the example. Okay, perfect. So this is an example of a talent brand summary. So you can, if you want, you can take a screenshot of it so that you can follow the same structure. But you can also take a copy of my resume guide, which has the exact same template on it. All right. So moving on to the importance of a resume is writing accomplishment statements. So when you write accomplishment statements, you have to remember the formula: job title, accomplishments, and outcomes. So what is the job title, what is the accomplishment, and what is the outcome? And you also have to remember the formula for accomplishments, which is action, verb, project, and outcome. Okay. So this is an example of an accomplishment statement. So let's have a look at this. Reorganize and maintain 1,000 technical files for the organization, and the evidence is reducing the file search time by an average of 3 hours. Okay, so you put all of these 3 together: the action word, the project, and the outcome, and you get your accomplishment statement. So each of your CV should have accomplishment statements. It should not have job descriptions. Don't type, I followed up with the customer, I did this, I did that. No, please don't do that. Now look at this example here. An experienced office manager skilled in overseeing office staff, scheduling and growing new contracts, cutting costs, seeking a job in global tech. I feel meh when I read this. But look at the second one, which is an accomplishment based, summary. An energetic office manager with 5 years experience seeking to leverage proven management and training skills. So I'm talking about what I want to grow the efficiency at Ernst Young, what I want to do in the company, and what I've done. Now I'm talking about my accomplishments. Oversaw 8 office assistants in a high volume tech business, grew new contracts by 22% per year, cut lead times by 53%, and cut miscellaneous costs by 22%. An office manager. Did you ever think an office manager could break down their job like this? If you did not think that, please type no in the comment box. Did you ever think an office manager could powerfully explain themselves like that? Right? Okay, I'll give you another example. So basically, before I give you another example, I want you to remember this. Your talent brand summary is your elevator pitch. So your title, who you help, the problem you solve, something unique about you, all of these things are what your elevator pitch is. So remember your talent brand summary. Okay. So So let me go ahead to this particular section, which I want to talk about, which is quantitative results, right? Okay. So let's see. I'm just going to go straight to the examples because I've already explained everything to you. So if you look at this example over here, instead of saying help improve efficiency of a support team, you want something like this. Performed a comprehensive audit of support team processes, identified and addressed weak points, which led to a 15% increase in resolution rates and saved. So you get the idea, right? Maha, the talent brand summary will replace something called as the objective in your CV. Have you seen that generic CVs have some section on the top that says objective? Okay, forget about objective. Nobody cares about objective actually, because what they care about is what you can do for the company. And a talent brand summary tells them exactly what you can do for them. So this is the top section on the CV, right? So if I want to scroll down, I will be able to scroll down only after I see your talent brand summary. And if your talent brand summary tells me everything about you, I don't have to worry about it at all. All right. So let me actually share with you another example. See, look at this example. Rather than saying drive revenue growth for existing accounts, you could say implemented a new strategy involving ABC Limited, which led to a 10% lift across the book of businesses and resulted in beating my quota. So you have to quantify, you have to give them numbers. All right. So I want to share with you an example of a CV that I recently worked on. Okay. Hold on. Let me just share that with you in a minute. In the meanwhile, we can start taking questions. And I have a surprise uh, guest here with us who will be joining us in the next 30 minutes, I guess. So he will also be answering a lot of questions. He is from the HR industry, and I will give you a little more information about him in the next few minutes. All right. So I am just going to look for this template that I want to share with you guys. Just one moment. In the meanwhile, let's start taking questions. Yeah. Okay. Manoj, if you can make me the host, I wanted to share the accomplishment statements. Yes, picture is mandatory, Amir, actually speaking. The picture is where you actually will be able to make an impact on the person. Now, for example, some companies, they don't need pictures, so it depends where you're applying, what companies you're applying to. So you have to do a little bit of research to understand the organization you're going to be working for. What kind of a company are they? Do they give importance to values? Do they give importance to culture? Do they give importance to appearance? Sometimes if you go and see a company, you will see all just a particular type of people working there. If you go and see their previous work experiences, you will see that they hire only from a particular type of organizations. So you have to do in-depth research to understand the types of organization that you're applying to. So the picture is absolutely important. In some cases, actually in the UAE, I think most companies do. But if you're applying in the US or Europe or anywhere abroad, I don't think a picture is important. All right. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys an example of the CV. So I found the CV here. All right. All right. Okie dokie. 1 second. I'm just pulling up that information for you. In the meanwhile, let's answer some questions. Okay, let's see. Let's take a break. What personal data like family situation and address, is it better to mention the region and the mobility, or is it necessary to put the full address? You don't need to give them your door number or your house address. You just need to tell them the location where you are. So if you're in Dubai, I'm in Dubai. If I'm in Abu Dhabi, I'm in Abu Dhabi. Give them the location and country, Dubai, UAE. And the same thing when it comes to, okay, we still have people joining in actually. We have to admit people. Okay, admit. All right. So how many pages of resume required when you are about to submit? It's very debatable. Some people say 1 page resume, some people say 2 page resume, but it totally depends on how much experience you have and how well you write your CV. If you're a person who can write your CV in 1 page with the key accomplishments broken down, then go for a 1 page CV. But I think normally speaking, a 2 page CV is more than acceptable, because if you have many years of experience, you can't drill down. But if you want to capture the hiring manager's attention, the talent brand summary has all the answers. It tells you who you are, what you did, what skills you have, what work you've done, how many years of experience, everything comes in the talent brand summary, right? So if a hiring manager wants to scroll down, it doesn't matter if it's 1 page or 2 page after this. It just matters how well you write your CV. Mentioning date of birth, debatable. If you're applying in the US or other European countries, you don't need to mention your date of birth, but applying in the UAE, definitely, in fact, they have a lot of age bias hiring. And so it's better for you to understand the company and put in your age. If you're really good at what you do, they will hire you no matter what. So I want to tell you guys about the story. I remembered, somebody asked me about age-based hiring. So recently I had a candidate called Rima, and she was 50 years old, and she worked as a HR coordinator. Let me actually pull up her CV. Rima, let's see, where is her CV? Okay, perfect. So I'll come back to the questions after I tell you the story. All right. So now Rima was somebody who was an administrative accountant, and this was her CV. It's a PDF document, and when I put it in the ATS, I actually use an application tracking system to make sure the CVs are good. So when I put it in the ATS, actually none of the information was there. And since March 2020, she was not able to get a single interview. She was not able to get even interviews. And you know what changed? It all changed when she sat and rewrote her CV, actually speaking. I can actually show you WhatsApp messages where she was begging me, Fatima, can you please give me some templates, some examples? I said, no, I will not be able to give you templates or examples, because you need to rewrite your CV from the scratch. It's only you that knows what you need to do. And I gave her the template that I shared with you guys. And I sat down with her in a couple of one-to-one sessions, and we really brought out her experience onto the paper. And she's 50 plus years, okay? And she was doing an accounts receivable job, but she wanted to go back into HR. So what she did was she reskilled herself. She went and she got a HR qualification. She got some HR certifications. She rewrote her CV. She built up her LinkedIn presence. And believe it or not, on April 30th, she's giving me a call, jumping with excitement on the phone. And she said, in all my life, nobody has ever given me the confidence that you have, because age is actually just a number, right? It is true. I mean, it sounds funny when people say it, but age is actually a number. How you feel and how you behave is what reflects your age. If I want to act like a 40-year-old or a 30-year-old, it depends. Or if I want to act like a 20-year-old, how do I want to act? If I am lethargic, if I don't display my skills, this person, you must, I wanted to, if I can show you her WhatsApp, actually, I can't show you right now, but if I can show you how she looks right now, the way she presents herself, it's all about how you sell yourself. At the end of the day, it's how you present yourself. Okay. So this person was able to get a job in spite of being 50 plus years old. And anyone who has the age question here, I'm going to give you the same answer. Don't worry about the age. Only worry about what problems you can solve, how you can bring resolution to this company. Ask yourself, okay, I'm applying to this company. What solutions can I provide? What value can I provide? If you can answer these questions, you will be able to, get the attention of the hiring managers. Okay. So we have a question here. If I'm applying for a job interview, could I write my education where I did my high school? Actually, you have to break down your education. Let me show you an example of a CV here. 1 second. Because you're saying maybe if you submit most, okay. I mean, don't worry about the pages, you just go with 1 or 2 pages. And if you don't want to display your marital status, it's totally up to you. But as far as age is concerned, I would say go ahead. If you're applying in the UAE, please go ahead and, tell them your age. Okay, perfect. So let's go and look at this. Okay, I want to show you something right now. This is actually how an application tracking system looks. Okay, so in this application tracking system is where all your CVs come in. So when you apply for a job, everything comes into this system. So let's say Microsoft, Google, EMAR, whatever companies you're applying to, whichever organization you're applying to, all of them have an application tracking system. Okay, they pay money for this. The reason we have this is sometimes when you post a job vacancy, hundreds and hundreds of people are applying to the job. And the only way for the hiring manager to get relevant CVs is through this application tracking system. So what we do is, I'll show you how it works. I have a few demo CVs over here. So you click on candidates, and let's say I want to search for a cloud engineer. Even before I post a vacancy, I actually go and look at my database. In fact, nobody posts a vacancy without looking at their database. And the database is the application tracking system. Okay, so the application tracking system is where all your CVs go in when you apply for a job. In fact, even if you send me an email as a hiring manager, if you send me an email, my email redirects the CV into the system. Okay, and then I go ahead and I either go by jobs, I click on jobs, and I look at each and every applicant that has applied by viewing the candidates over here, view all candidates. Or I can even say intelligent matches. So when I click on intelligent matches, the ATS automatically calculates based on keywords, how well you have written the resume, what are the things, and it gives me a ranking. Now, imagine if there are 500 candidates who applied to the job. Do you think the hiring manager has time to go down to all the 500 CVs? They don't have, right? Do you agree with me? If you do, please type I agree in the comment box. Do you agree with me? Does the hiring manager have time to type 500, to look at 500 CVs? Yes, Shahid, Kadua, Rija, absolutely. Actually, you have to also interact. I see that many of you people here in this session, many of you have not interacted. You're spectating. Okay, but only when you interact, the information will actually make more meaning to you. Okay, you have to take the plunge from now. Okay, so anyways, so many people agree with me. That's fantastic. So as I said, when I look for intelligent matches, the ATS will give me the CV. So I will look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Maybe I found my candidate in the first 10 candidates itself. What I will do is I will click on, reply to all, and send an automatic reject email to the remaining 490 candidates. That's what happens in an ATS system. So basically, you need to rewrite your resume with the key points that I've given you to get highlighted in the top section of the ATS. So I wanted to show you an example of a CV that was rewritten by me. Okay. So this person here came into Dubai on a job search, and for almost 1 month looking for a job and unable to find it. And I will just show you his original CV, okay, when he applied for the job. Okay, where is his CV? Yeah, here's it. Okay, this was his first CV, actually, the one before he rewrite his CV. Thank you, Mahesh. Please keep your questions coming in. We have a guest appearance and he will answer some of your questions. So look at this CV here, Cameron James. Okay, so this person, this was his CV. He put his, very generic statement, but even here he currently, mentioned his skills, which is good. Actually, CV is not that bad, to be honest. Okay, but he was not getting any interview calls. He was not getting any information. And if you look at the CV here, there are no dates. When did he study? Which year? You know, which year did he study? That is not mentioned. When did he finish his schooling? Not mentioned. In fact, if you see, lots of font difference, and there's no structure on the CV. If you look at the CV here, all right. But actually, he has mentioned many things on his CV, but still the ATS was not picking it up. And the reason is his CV was very generic. All right. Yes, Mr. Haddadi, I'm going to show you a good template right now. Okay. So if you look at this example, it's actually not a bad CV, but he was not getting interview calls. Okay. So I'm going to show you the example of the CV that actually got him a job. And he's right now working in a job which pays him 3 times the salary that he expected to earn when he came here. And the reason why he got that salary is because he has the skills, he has the talent, and he stopped listening to people who say, oh, you know what, you're new to the UAE, this is all salary you will get. The salary depends upon how you sell yourself, how you negotiate, how you bring your value to the table. All right. So let us download this resume. So this is how we download. Are you guys able to see my screen? If you're not able to see my screen, with the various different fonts, this is hiring manager. That is
Yes.
correct. Yes. With different fonts are not good. Use just one font. Use Open Sans, or you can use Canva. Open Sans or Arial actually. Hold on 1 second. I was trying to show you guys the CV, right? 1 second. Okay. Where is the CV? Okay, it's here. So that was the original CV. And actually, 1 second, let me just delete his photograph and his contact details. All right. Okay. Perfect. Sharing his CV. He does know I'm sharing his CV, but I just want to remove the personal details. So if you see, there was a fantastic CV here. Okay. This is a fantastic CV right here. It gives you, it gives you an idea as to what this person really wants. Okay. In the beginning, he's written his name and the designation that he wants to get hired to. So these are the two positions that he was targeting in the market: Azure Cloud Engineer and Senior System Administrator. So these are the two positions that he has worked in as well. So he's put that on the CV. And then he has also mentioned his top 3 skills in bracket with his phone number, his email. Always use a professional email. Please don't use iloveyou@gmail.com or facts@gmail.com or something like that. It only shows the level of professionalism that you have. If you have a complicated name, make it as fatimahr@gmail.com or Adadi project manager at gmail.com, whatever. Give yourself a nice ring that the hiring manager can remember and type your email whenever he wants. So this is the talent brand summary, the one I was talking about. Are you guys able to see the talent brand summary? Yes? Perfect. Okay. So I would actually like one of you to read this out loud. Who wants to take the opportunity to read this talent summary out loud? Can you type me in the comment box, please? Anybody wants to read it out loud? Okay, let me do it. Oh, that's fantastic, Mr. Harari. I think the universe kind of giving me an intuition as to who's. All right. So, Mr. Shahid, do you want to come online and read this talent summary, please?
Yeah, sure,
Sorry,
Fatima.
madam.
I'm a tech into your state, solving partner problems through cloud technologies using Azure MDM, Intune, Microsoft Dynamics for over 80,000 end users and executive level clients for 3 BUs.
So this 2 lines, before you go down, right, Shahid?
Yes.
These 2 lines, what does it tell you about this person?
So it means that he is a tech enthusiast of entrepreneurship.
Enthusiast, a tech enthusiast, right?
And tech enthusiast for the entrepreneurship. It is all about for solving the computer technology, how to use for so far. Like for C++ to ensure that Microsoft, how we have to develop the computers and how much users we have to have so far, how many people have subscribed to his website.
That is correct. That is correct. It tells you his passion. He's a tech enthusiast. It tells you what does he solve. He solves partner problems. He's not directly with the consumers. Okay, he solves end users, but it's partner problems. And how does he solve it? Through cloud technologies. Cloud technologies is like saying I'm good at hospitality. If you say I'm good at hospitality, fine, but what are you good in hospitality? What are the areas in hospitality, right? So like that, if you say cloud technologies, what are the areas in cloud technology you're good at? So he says Azure, MDM, Intune, Microsoft Dynamics. So these are the 4 top skills that he wants to be known for, right? And who has he serviced? He has serviced almost 80,000 end users. Now me as a hiring manager, I'll be like, wow, this guy has serviced 80,000 end users, which means imagine the number of complications and troubles and requests and escalations, everything that would have come up, right? And this person has handled 80,000, gives me an idea of the magnitude of his work experience. And executive level clients for 3 BU, which means he's dealt with 3 business units at the executive level, not just at the B2B level, but at the director level, at the manager level, or at the CFO level. All right. So yes, Mr. Shair, you can read the next part.
Sure. So my expertise in analytic thinking. Yeah, Maha.
I just want to ask about something.
Maha, I'll give you your turn. Just give me 1 minute. Yeah, let's finish this talent. Go ahead, Shahid.
Yeah, because I have a comment for the first 2.
I have a question for the first part. Okay, please go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. What about if someone doesn't have an experience, fresh graduate or something?
So for someone who doesn't have experience, that is where I talked about transferable skills. So if you remember, I showed you an example of the cashier moving to a customer service role. In fact, let me just drop that link in the comment box. Okay. So I'm actually dropping a link in the comment box, and I don't click on this link now. Okay. Click on this link after the webinar. Go here and you can try to understand the transferable skills that you have. So right now, Maha, you have a lot of skills that you have displayed during your university. You might be good at presentations. You might be good at people interaction. You might have led a team in a project in your college, or you might have conducted seminars or presentations for your class on your topics. What are the accomplishments that you have in your university? You might have been a part of the student body council, or you might have been a part of R&R events, you organized events. So you have to highlight these skills and you have to use them in the job that you're applying to. So you have to find the common skills and you have to say, Maha, I am, let's say, what job are you applying to? Let's give me one job title that you want to apply to.
Supply chain management.
Supply chain manager. Okay. So I am a supply chain graduate, or a supply chain graduate looking to solve supply chain, what do you call that? Let me break it down. Wait. Okay. Let's see. You can say, I'm Maha, I'm a supply chain engineer. So what are your top skills? Can you give me 3 top skills that you are known for? Like, if somebody thinks of Maha, this is the first thing that comes to their mind. What are the 3 things? Like for example, if it's a presentation, someone would come to me. I'm very good at PPT. I'm very good at making presentations. So like that, what are the top 3 things that you are known for, or you want to be known for, or you want to be known for? Even that's fine, because you can always study those skills. Do you have 3
Actually,
skills that you can tell
I
me?
am not yet have anything in my mind now.
Okay, but you get the idea, right? So what you
Yeah,
have to do,
I got
you
the
have
idea.
to
Yeah,
take,
to ask.
so you have to get yourself the top 3 skills which you want to highlight, and that skill should match the job description. Because if you remember, when we were breaking down the job description, we picked out some words, right? We picked out some job descriptions. So you have to take that and match it with what you've done. So let's say if they say you need to have good people management skills, then you can talk about how you led a team when you were in the university, or you could talk about when you led a project in the university, or when you conducted a session in the university. Maybe your class teacher would ask you to conduct sessions, or you might have been a pupil leader or a student ambassador. You have to highlight these skills, and if you don't have them, don't worry about it. You can always get them. You can always gain. Skills can be learned. Okay, it's just that you have to have the interest. Okay, so interest is what matters. If you have the interest to learn, you will be able to get any skill. Trust me. You can actually intern in organizations and learn these skills. So it's not rocket science, but how you portray yourself as a fresh graduate is, you have to highlight what you're most passionate about. How can you could say, I can do this, and this using my excellent Microsoft handling skills, my presentation skills, and my supply chain, data analyzing skills. So you need to break down where exactly the skills are. Okay. So Shahir, I'm just going to read the rest of it. Thank you so much. So if you look at this, the rest of it, it says my experience in analytic thinking, client relationship, problem solving, paired with my passionate spirit for new cloud technologies and quick learning skills makes me stand out as a critical resource to the organizations. So this part answers why they have to hire this person. Why should they hire this person? Is because he has analytic thinking, he has client relationship, and he has problem solving with his passion to learn. He says he's always learning. And how can we test this learning? If we go and see, all of his certifications, whatever he's done, we will be able to do that. So now what this person has done is, in the next section, he's written, what does he do for the company? Okay. So as a cloud administrator, I help businesses get most value out of their computing investments by ensuring that the users are productive, servers and networks run smoothly on cloud, IT assets, and company data are secure and protected. So this is what he does for the company. So if you look at the structure of the talent brand summary, this part over here is where you get the hiring manager's attention. So the 6 seconds where the person decides whether they want to scroll down or not, it all depends upon your talent brand summary. Okay, so great. So let's see the next section. So the next section, he talks about his role in each and every top of the high skills. So what we did was we took the job description that you was applying to, we took the 5 top requirements. So it said they needed a cloud administrator. It said they needed advanced troubleshooting skills. The job description said you need project leading skills. It said, the job description said, I need virtualization. The job description said data visualization. And the job description said, I need managerial skills. So these were the 6 things that we picked out from the job description. And under each and every what do you call that? Each and every keyword or key requirement, we could call it, he mentioned what he has done. He gave them a brief of his success stories. What has he done and each and every. And then he moved on to give them an overview of his experience. Where has he worked? In 11 years, what has he done? Month, date. Yeah. And then where has he worked? So the company name, of course, we made these changes over here. You have to mention the month. The month is very important, because if you don't mention the month, then the hiring manager will think that you're hiding something, that there is some gap in your experience. All right. So if you look at this, you write your company name, the location, the dates, your designation. Now this designation, if your company that you work for has given you any other random job description, you can tailor it to the job that you're applying to, because different companies have different designations. It's all about the skill. So you have to tailor your job description as per the skill requirement. Okay. So then you write your role. What did you do? And your clients. Who did you handle? Okay. If you're into someone who handles clients, and then you break down your responsibilities. Again, this person has broken it down as per the key requirement in the job description. For each and every thing, he is given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For this one, he is given 1 example. So it depends how many accomplishments. Okay, actually, the solutions are also what is not fitted over here. Whatever he couldn't fit it here, he's fitted it up in another section called key accomplishments. And again, look at this accomplishment. Redesigned and implemented cloud solutions for device configurations and policies, eliminating vendor support, reducing cost by 35%. It's a quantifiable number. It clearly breaks down. So this is the structure of the CV. Actually, this CV is 3 pages because this person has 11 years of experience, but you can try to stick it down to 2 pages. In fact, we did actually refine the CV to 2 pages when he started applying. All right. So question time. What are the questions we have? I know that some of you wanted a template. Let me see if I can.
Ma'am, can I raise a question?
Yes, please. Who is this?
This is Rija Rashid here. Actually, ma'am, you have said that, if you allow me to continue.
Please go ahead.
Ma'am, actually, the thing is that you said that if there is some gap between your working experience, so there are some personal issues which you cannot disclose or you cannot share. So you should mention over there that you are doing some studies or you are doing some personal task or something. But if we are not planning, like there's some reason we cannot like to share or something, we cannot disclose. So how we can cover it up in the CV?
So see, you don't have to tell them what the problem is. You don't have to explain what the problem is. But you can always tell them, I've taken off a time off. It's a personal time off, or I've taken a study break, or I've taken a time for family care. I've taken time
For example, I will tell you my personal
building my
experience.
family.
As you have shared the CV of that lady, 50 plus year. Her
Yeah.
age, actually from after COVID, I was on a medication, still going on.
A little louder, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yes.
Actually,
Sorry, you were saying?
during the time of pandemic, I went on a medical leave. Still, I am on a medical rest.
Okay.
Okay. So there is something that that you should have physical fitness for the job to show the energetic, and due to that reason, so I couldn't apply. Some other reason, like if I apply for the interview or something.
You went on a medical leave.
No, I am on a medical treatment itself. I'm
You
waiting
are
for
on a
my
medical leave.
health to be recovered physically. So due to
Okay.
that, I can. It is like back. There are some, not one, three, four issues, backache and all.
Okay.
So this
Okay.
all this
Okay,
discussion we
very
cannot
good.
do on the CV. So if you can
Yes.
kindly guide us that this 3-year experience, how to cover it up or something like that to mention the CV.
In this 3 years, what have you done in this break?
I am doing like my MBA,
Apart from
right?
taking rest and taking your health and getting that
Yeah, that's what
energy back.
MBA.
Exactly.
MBA. Currently, I'm doing my MBA. Then
So
HRM. HRM.
that is not a break. Yeah, so that is not a break. No, so why do you think it's a gap? Because you've anyways been studying during the time, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I understood the question right, but you said that you took a break. But the break was to do with
I
also your
cannot.
health
No, the
and
thing
your
is that like during the time of pandemic, we have went online, right? So we can do the studies. But for if there is a work, the time of the interview, you have to be present physically to like first impression is the last impression. It is not like it can be done online or something like that. So to
but
get the job, first you need to pass the interview. And physically, I am not able to go and do the interview one time. So I have no like job. So for that one, for the like you have job in between that, like 2-3 after year experience, they understand you well. So they give you like flexibility that you can work from home, they can understand your medical situation and all. But once you have leave the job and you have this kind of crisis or something, during this one to get the job and there's a gap, so how to do and cover it in the CV? That's what is my question.
see, actually to answer your question in very simple words, you have to pick the organization you want to work with. You have to pick an organization which actually will give importance to all of the issues that you have. Because if I were someone who had these issues, then I will pick organizations which give me work from home, which gives me remote working, which gives me flexible working, which gives me women at women empowerment programs, which gives me learning programs. So I will pick organizations based on that. And if I cannot travel to the place of interview, and if that company cannot understand me, then I don't want to work in that company, actually speaking. Because if I get that same issue again, I know I'm going to be fired from that job, because that organization is not understanding of me. So I would like you to actually pick organizations where they will understand where you're coming from, and they will hire you not based on your health issues, but based on what value you can provide. What have you done? Okay, you've done your MBA now. Before the MBA, what have you done? Your accomplishments. And also, when you're applying to an organization, you always go to them with solutions. You tell them, okay, these are the issues you have, these are the solutions I can provide. And today, everything is remote working, right? Not everything, actually. Most people are coming back to the office. But if you see, more 30% is still at remote. And remote working is the new normal. So you pick jobs which give you the flexibility of how you want to be. You don't let the job pick you, you pick the job. Okay. And that's what,
Okay.
my Dream Career Mastery program is all about, that actually. It's about picking the job that treats you the way you want to work in, and not just applying to any and every job. In fact, I do not coach people who randomly apply to 100 jobs. If they want to do that, they do not have a place in my community, actually speaking. If you want to get the job you love, you need to go towards it. You need to pick and identify it. All right. So now I am going to invite someone here onto this webinar. Give me one quick second. I'm just trying to open his slide here. Okay. So we have here with us Mr. Sham. Sham has been in the industry for, I believe, a very, very, very long time. He's a HR and a talent acquisition specialist. He talks a lot about the future of work, and he has been working in the UAE for a long time. He has started his own, in fact, let me just show you his picture here so you can know who he's talking about. In fact, he started his own HR company, and right now he's working for a very well-reputed firm in the UAE as a regional sales director. So he understands everything about the future of work, and I wanted to invite him over to share his knowledge and tips about resume, modern day resume, because he is all about the future of work. He talks a lot about the future of work. So I wanted him to give me, probably 5 to 10 minutes of his insights to everybody over here on how we can actually prepare ourselves for the future of work and how we can have our resume aligned to that as well. So are you guys able to
Thank you
see
so
my
much,
Please welcome.
Fatima. Thank you so much. Hope you can hear me.
Is
Yeah.
everybody able to hear him? Yes, I'm able
Yes.
to hear you.
You can hear.
Please go
Yes.
Yes,
Great. And thank you for the admin access as well. I think I can share my screen. So yeah, guys. Before that, thank you for this 10 minutes. My name is Shyam, and I had been journeying with you guys and going through this program for the last an hour or so. It was really enriching. Thank you, Fatima, for this energetic session, first of all. And thank you, each and every one of you, for this wonderful Sunday afternoon, taking your time out and, looking at learning towards this. So let me quickly share my screen. So please let me know once you can see my screen. Hope you can see my screen. So just type yes in the comment box so that I know that you are able to see the screen, right? Cool. All right.
your screen.
Great. So, guys, today in the next 5 to 7 minutes, at a very high level, I'm gonna be talking about 5 things, which is complementing to the workshop today, which Fatima has been leading. So, as I start, it's very important for you to know who I am. Right? So, the first thing that I'm gonna be talking about is myself, so that you get to understand me a little more better, right? So my name is Shyam, and I'm a hyper growth career coach, and I'm the founder of Job Readiness Hub. I help students, fresh graduates, and professionals like you to attain job readiness and to future proof your careers with the trending skills to thrive in the future of work. So this is what I do. I'm also working with a HR tech company where we help organizations in their talent management processes. We call it as HR Tech 4.0, and we work with a lot of CHROs, HR and talent acquisition leaders. So I'm well connected to the industry recruiting leaders on one side, and on the other side, I'm also helping to bridge the talent supply gap of youth talents like you, right? So this is number one. The first thing that I wanted to talk about is myself. So number two, that I wanted to give you a high level feeling or a feeler is because I run a lot of programs on future proofing career, right? So what is really meant by future proofing career? Does anyone in the next 30 seconds want to pick it up or answer this question? Or if you want to drop it in the comment box, please feel free to drop it in the comment box below. Or if you want to speak about what is meant by future proofing career, please raise your hands or open to speak in the next 30 seconds or so. So what is really meant by future proofing your career? Yeah. So do you think you can future proof your career?
I think I have future-proofed my career, Sham. I have completely future-proofed my career. So how many of you here are on that journey of future-proofing your career? You know that this job, this whatever you're doing, next 10, 15 years, it's going to be there. Or I don't know, Sham will give us the insight on it, if I'm right.
So Shahir, you want to speak about it, or we just raise your hand saying,
Yeah,
please.
sure, Sham. So
Yeah.
for that, future proofing your career means it is all about a job, what we have to do in the future to advance your career. It's all about the visionary and mission to
Absolutely.
accomplish your goals that I want to have to like I have to finish my degree, then I want to do a job and work in the
Absolutely.
company.
So that's where everyone steps into their career, right? So at one point, you either step up or you're being pushed to take up a career, right? So according to me, if you want to future proof your career, so there are three things that I define as. Number one is, the number of roles that are more and number of roles that are ideally more and demanding is future proofing your career, not the number of roles which is less, and the openings is how do I say, more number of uh, jobs that is existing. At the same time, it is also demanding, right? So if there is no demand, then you are really not looking at future proofing your career. Say for example, if you want to become a Java programmer, just saying for example, in today's context, uh, it, for one job there are about 100,000 or thousands of applications, right? So in such a way, you are really not looking at future proofing your career because the supply is so much, right? So you need to look beyond today to look at the future. And if you understand where the future is heading to, where the future of work is heading to, how the future of jobs are changing, only then you will be able to future proof your career from today. Because I don't want people to pick up a job that is coming your way just for the sake of picking it up. And in about a few years down the line, you become redundant, right? Your job becomes redundant. It is subject to automation, and then you feel like, I don't see growth for myself, and things like that. So that is an important factor for you to think right now, and especially in this session leading by Fatima, the talent brand summary, that is an amazing thing to do, and this will help you to look beyond today to future proof your career. Number two is the number of people are less with that particular skills. Say, for example, cloud computing, cyber security. There are more number of jobs, just saying, for example. But the skilled resources or people with those particular skill sets are less. Then if you pick a career path in such a situation, then that is really meant by future proofing your career, because there are more number of jobs, at the same time there are less number of people. So it's easier for you to get into a domain which is more demanding and less resource available, so that you become a most wanted resource, right? So that's the supply gap. The third thing that I wanted to tell you today at a high level is the roles that might be replaced or upgraded with evolving technologies is not future proofing. We used to watch movies, we used to book tickets, travel tickets earlier versus now. The same companies are still operating, cinemas are still operating, but the uh, you know the job role of each of them has changed or evolved, right? So if you are taking up or picking up any role that you feel is subject to automation or will be replaced, then that is not really future proofing your career. So while picking your career path, please make sure that your role is futuristic and it will help you to thrive in the future of work, right? So was this helpful? So if you think this tips had been helpful, please type yes in the comment box. It gives me a sort of motivation as well to give you more inputs or more tips on this. Thank you for this, Amir, Ashner, and I'm also going to be talking about a few questions raised by a couple of people here in this. The third thing that I wanted to, was there any everyone for the wonderful session? Okay, all right. So three secrets. So I also run this community called Job Readiness Hub, where I help students to look at future proofing their career. So I reveal three important secrets for you. I'm not going to go deep dive in the best interest of everyone's time, but at a very, very high level, the three secrets to future proof your career is the secret number one is you need to understand GICS, right? So not many of you would have heard of the term GICS. GICS stands for Global Industry Classification Standards. You take any company that exists in the world today, they have to come or be bucketed inside this GICS, your Global Industry Classification Standards. So there are about 11 sectors, 24 industry groups, 69 industries, and further many sub industries. So you take any company, they will be falling under either of these sectors, industry groups, industries, and following sub industries, right? And primarily our IT industry serves any of these key industries. When you are looking at making your career, you are going to be making your career in any of this GICS categorized industries or company. So you need to first understand the menu of your career options, what is available right there, right? So that is secret number one. Secret number two that I wanted to tell you is, we all live in a world of constant change, right? So change is the only constant here, right? Everything keeps changing. If you don't keep up to the pace, you are going to be outdated, right? So there are a few deep dive insights which I will probably cover it when I get a chance to speak to you later. But yeah, we all live in a world of constant change. Industrial revolutions have been happening. We came across industrial revolution 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and now we are at industry 4.0. So now the future is looking like industry 5.0 or society 5.0. So you should also know that where the world is heading to. Only when you know where the world is heading to, you will be able to look at the future of jobs, right? And the future of work. The third secret that I want you to think about when you're making a career decision is, there is really a gap, which is a talent supply gap that exists today for the future of work. A simple example is, one side, a lot of talent acquisition leaders whom I personally know are looking at hiring the right people. On the other side, a lot of fresh graduates, youth talents, and mid-career professionals are looking at career options, right? So they are looking to hire, other side they're looking for jobs, but it's not able to match or meet the demand versus supply. Why? Because there is a talent supply gap. So you as a talent, right? So you have your talent, uh, uh, the which Fatima has been leading you now, the framework, right? So now you as a talent should be able to come forward, step up, and bridge the talent supply gap. So these are the three secrets that I wanted to give it to you or drop it to you at a high level. And now in the last probably 1 minute or two, I just wanted to talk about Job Readiness Hub, a high level program, and then I also have a few free guides which you can possibly grab after this end of this session. Right. So very high level. I know Fatima has been leading this high level to Job Readiness Hub. The benefits that you as a student get is, this will answer to probably I don't remember the name of the person. I think Riha or Marvin. Somebody was asking this question, and this will help you to attain your care. This will help you to get answer to that. Right. So Job Readiness Hub, we at this community, also driven by Fatima, we help students to attain your unique career niche clarity, which is like your menu card of options. And you look at the menu card and you will be able to get your career niche clarity. This will help you to get your aligned or have an aligned career, help you to choose your career niche and validate your chosen career niche. And this will also help you to empower yourself, right? So once you have looked at the various menu card of career options, the future of jobs, and you're picking a future of work for yourself, then you need to also validate it. Once you have validated it, you need to empower yourself, and then you need to position yourself in front of the right targeted audience and build your talent influence. We also help you to attract your gigs, internships, jobs, projects, placements, a lot of other things. We also help you with a lot of resource center like this section, which is driven by Fatima. You will also have access to the recordings if Fatima permits. But yeah, and we also have a community hub. And lastly, our community also helps to support underprivileged school kids education, so in terms of charity. So with this, I would like to take a quick pause, ask you if this was helpful, and if you want to get access to any of the free guides, probably I will just drop it in the comment box. You can just visit the free guide section. This is my website. As you can see, just click on free resources, go to jobreadinesshub.com, click on free resources. You will get a few free guides which you can download and enjoy these quick reads. Any
Thank you.
questions? Yeah,
Thank you, Shyam.
happy to
Thank you so
answer.
much. for actually sharing this with us. I think you're still the host, right? I'm not able to share the screen. So
Hope
yeah.
you can. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sham. So I hope that was very useful for you. I mean, I invited Sham so that you guys can get an idea about, what the future of work is all about and how you can prepare yourself for the future of work and how you can actually have your resume ready for this
Absolutely.
particular journey that you have right now. So if you guys have any questions for Sham, do we have any questions? Okay. I don't see any questions. So I'm just going to close the webinar. I think we're almost, the time is up. I'm just going to give you the closing here. I've actually dropped in a webinar feedback form. So I would like you guys to please fill in that feedback form. In that feedback form, I've actually asked a few questions. The questions are, the date of the webinar, your name, on a scale of 1 to 10, how was the session? How do you rate my knowledge on the topic of CVs? Did you feel that you have more time? You wanted more time, you wanted more information about resumes? How was the structure of the session? You can tick all the boxes that apply. What percentage of information was new to you? What did you love about the session? And what made you feel understood? Did I address all your resumes? And was there something that was new to you? Did anything challenge you during this webinar? And what is your action plan based on this session? Now, after answering all these questions, if you still think there is something that I did not answer, there is some problem in your job search, in your resume that I did not address, please do type it here. And hopefully, if we meet again in the future, I will try to address that session. And yeah, so that is pretty much it, guys. So do we have any more questions from our audience? Manoj, do you want to take over?
Thank you so much, Ms. Fatima. Thank you, Mr. Sham. It was really a nice session for every one of us.
Thank you.
Let the participants have few minutes so that if they want, they can fill the feedbacks here itself.
Okay. In the meanwhile, whoever is here, I think somebody wanted to know the structure of a cover letter. I think if people are staying back, maybe I'll just quickly see if I can explain that to them. So I'm not sure who was asking me about the cover letter. I forgot the person's name, but I have a structure of the cover letter here. Do you see my screen, guys? So this is,
Yes.
how many of you can see my screen?
Everyone.
How should we show the promotion in the same company? Group your promotions, Mr. Haddadi. So if you have one company that you work for, but you have different levels, so you put in your levels. Now, for example, if you started in a junior role, you don't need to explain about the job description or the task that you did in the junior role, because when you're applying, you will be focusing on your most recent job title and your most recent accomplishments that you have. So group your promotions. You can have a tab, a section that says promotions, and you can group your promotions, or under each and every employer, you can just group your promotions under using the job titles. Okay, and don't write company name, job title, company name, job title, company name for the same company. Don't do that. Don't write the same company back to back. Miss Haddadi, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I thought you're Mr. Haddadi. I'm so sorry. So how? So also we have a part-time job in the same period of a full-time job. That is fantastic, which means you have more experience, right? So group that under your part-time experience. Do not feel shy to mention your knowledge or your job experience in the industry. So when you're tailoring your CV, the reason why most people don't have space in their CV is because they copy paste job descriptions, right? So if you follow the structure that I've given you during this webinar, you will actually have enough of space to write only the things that you have done, only the accomplishments that you have done. All right. So let's look at this cover letter here. The cover letter is actually almost, the same candidate, actually not almost, it's actually the same candidate. The CV that I showed you, it's his CV. He has actually mentioned his talent brand summary on the cover letter. He has solved the problem like that. But then, it's a technical role. So of course, it depends whether which kind of role. If it's supply chain, under supply chain, you have to see which skill you're good at, which skill, what are the top 3 skills. So if you look at this guy, he has mentioned here, as the client's preferred lead resource, I single-handedly configured and managed collaboration devices for one major client across the globe for 200 devices for procurement and meeting impossible deadlines. I believe my skills will position the company name as a highly preferred IT service provider of choice. Thank you so much for taking the time to read my note. I'm incredibly excited to have the opportunity to be considered for this position. So the structure of the cover letter also is very important. You put in your introduction, you put in what you can bring to the table, and also you give them something to remember you by. All right. So this is actually an example of a cover letter. This is another cover letter for a project manager. Ms Haddadi is a project manager, right? So you can have a look at this example here. Actually, this is for somebody who was applying for Omnia Advertising in Dubai. It's a very famous company in Dubai. So when you are writing a cover letter, you have to structure it in such a way that you break down your skills. So if you look at the first section, I'm applying for a position because your mission and vision aligns with my values. So she's trying to say that she is picking the organization. And as you can see from my resume, what motivates working for organizations. So this particular organization also has a lot of CSR initiatives. Okay. So in my senior project manager position with ABC, I handled very similar tasks. With my ability to learn, I know I can quickly close any knowledge gaps to become an asset in your team. So then she talks about what skills she has. She talks about what she did on her previous role and why she wants to be hired for the role. So the cover letter structure should be an introduction. It should give you also, a background about what you've done. And at the end, you should tell them how your experience relates. So cover letter is actually, I would say, required, because when you are applying to organizations that only you want to work to, and not to any and every organization, then you have to tailor your cover letter according to that. Okay. So the resume template actually gets you the job offer. It gives you everything that you need in your job search journey. So I hope this session was super useful for you guys. Do we have any more comments in the comment box? No, we don't. Thank you so much. Have you guys filled up your webinar form? I'm just going to check. I do not have any responses yet. I only have 3 responses, actually speaking. So please do not forget, please fill up the webinar feedback form. And also remember, your LinkedIn profile is very important. Try to, I have shared a checklist for LinkedIn that you can, use to tailor your LinkedIn profile. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much. I want to thank Manoj and I want to thank Dr. Shirin Thomas for giving me this opportunity to be here. And I hope I inspired you guys to go after the job you love and not the job you get. Trust me, each one of you here are unique. You have the skills. So you only have to learn how to explain and sell your skills to the other person. And when you pick organizations that matter, you matter. If you pick organizations that don't matter, they will obviously treat you the same way. Now, you picked a university based on what the university can provide for you, right? That's the same way you pick an organization. You pick an organization based on what the organization can provide for you. So thank you so much, guys. Lovely, lovely talking to each one of you here. Have a wonderful Sunday. Learners University College. That's right. Learners University College has, if you guys have any question about this webinar, please approach Mr. Manoj from Learners University College. Thank you very much. Thank you, Manoj.
Thank you so much, Ms. Fatima. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely weekend. Thank you.